Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told Out of Voice Radio. So today, I am showing you an exciting new card from the upcoming Shining Legend set. It's Shining Rayquaza. And it might look a little similar to a Rayquaza we saw previously. First things first, it's a dragon type, so it's hitting absolutely nothing for weakness, which is sad. And of course, being a dragon, the good news is that you can use double dragon energy to feed this attack. The bad news is it's almost certainly going to be rotated after the World Championships before this set comes out. And at the moment, it doesn't look like a reprint is on the cards, although fingers crossed. 128 HP for a basic is on the low side, at least for a big basic. It would be awesome for something like a Rowlet, but when we consider that Reshiram from Black and White base set at 130, 120 really is nothing to write home about, ladies and gentlemen. The free retreat is on the high side, but it's actually quite good because we can use Heavy Ball, and we're going to talk about Vikavolt in a minute, and Vikavolt's he's a heavy dude as well. So that actually is quite nice because it means that there's going to be some synergy here. Using it in a deck where you're using Heavy Ball anyway. Now, the weakness to Fairy at the moment's actually pretty good. Nobody's playing Fairy. But Gardevoir GX is coming out in Burning Shadows, and that might change this. Now, the first attack for Rayquaza does 40 damage for 1 lightning energy, and then you have to discard the top 2 cards of your deck. And if this sounds familiar, it should, because it's the exact same attack that we saw on this Shining Rayquaza, or this regular Rayquaza, or this regular Rayquaza. Yeah, they printed the same card 3 times, only one of which was Shining. Now, actually, this is pretty good. 40 for 1 energy is quite nice, and one of the main reasons it's nice at the moment is because of Professor Kukui. Professor Kukui means that you can do an extra 20 damage, which brings that 40 up to 60, and means that you will get a KO on things like Rowlet and Alolan Vulpix. Now, it's not going to do anything about things like Trubbish and Grubbin, but let's ignore that. There's plenty of 60 HP Pokemon out there we can take down. And now that we've got Tapu Lele and its wonderful Wonder Tag ability, we can feel a lot better about being able to find Professor Kukui on the first turn of the game. Now, Donking's proper definition is where you knock out your opponent's only Pokemon on your first turn of the game. And that is an option with Rayquaza here. If your opponent starts with an Alolan Vulpix, what they're probably going to do is either pass or use Beacon to search for 2 Pokemon, depending on whether they're allowed to attack, because remember, if you go first, you're not. And if you're allowed to attack and your opponent's only got a Vulpix in the active, and I've seen this in many a game since Guardians Rising came out, then all you need to do is find that Tapu Lele, find that Professor Kukui. Now you're doing 60 damage, and that Alolan Vulpix is going down. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a handy bonus, and could literally win you some games here. Now, outside of this, 40 damage is generally just a little bit too low. As I've said, being a dragon Pokemon, you're hitting literally nothing for weakness. And really, the best you can do here, if you add a choice band here, then you get to do 70. With a Professor Kukui, that then does 90, but even doing that twice, I mean, it'll 2-hit KO something like a Drampa, but not a Lapras. And it will 2-hit KO a Tauros, but, you know, Tauros has a bunch of raid-style attacks. I mean, it's just 90 at the moment. Back in the EX era, where pretty much the highest HP we ever had was 180, doing 90 was really good. We've moved beyond that, ladies and gentlemen. 90 just isn't that good anymore. Now, as for the requirement to discard the top 2 cards of your deck when you use this attack, the answer is could be good, but it's way too risky. My favourite example here is using Vespiquen, a deck that I play a lot, including on my stream, twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. It's happening 8 PM UK time every Thursday, and on an ad hoc basis around at other times. Check my Twitter at @TheWassy to find out. And when I play Vespiquen, I am terrified of running out of energy, because I've got 4 double colourless, I've got 2 special charge, and I might need 6 double colourless to win the game. Which means I am not running with much of a cushion here for error. So if I end up using this and discarding a double colourless energy and a strong charge, there is now a maximum of 5 energy, 3 double colourless and 2 recovered with a strong charge, for the rest of the game. Now, what I might do when I use this playing with Vespiquen is I might end up hitting 2 Pokemon I don't really want and increasing my damage output by 20, and that would be awesome. But there's no guarantee that I'm going to be able to do that. It makes me nervous. And yes, I know that it's very unlikely you're going to be playing Lightning Energy in Vespiquen anyway, but it was just a nice example of a card you can use. Although if you're really committed to using Rayquaza here, I do have a couple of options for you. Mallow. Mallow allows you to search your deck for any 2 cards and put them on top of your deck. Now, when you use Rayquaza, do remember you won't be using Kukui because you've used Mallow. Now you know which 2 cards you're discarding, and you know you're discarding the right ones. This sounds pretty tasty. Maybe you discard a couple of supporter cards to reuse with Versus Seeker. Maybe in something like Vespiquen you're discarding a couple of Pokemon. I don't know. But there's an option here. The other thing you can do is use Rotom Deck's Poker Finder mode, which is coming out in Burning Shadows. It allows you to look at the top 4 cards of your deck and either reorder them or shuffle them into your deck. So you can look here with Rotom Deck's Poker Finder mode and only attack with Rayquaza if you know you're discarding 2 cards you either want to discard or don't care about discarding. The second attack here for Rayquaza is also pretty good. 190 damage for a fire, 2 lightning and a colourless. Now this is expensive, but when we compare it to the attack of the previous Rayquaza, I like it an awful lot more. I'd rather do 180 and discard 3 energy than just do 90. So, good damage. And you're already getting a 1-hit KO on EXs and GXs, even the big boys like Lapras and Zygarde that have 190. And a choice band you got up to 220, which gets you a 1-hit KO on stage 1 GXs, even a Lowland Muck, which is going to break the record of HP at 220. But then that's where the good news ends, because with a Professor Kukui you're now doing 240, which is not enough to KO things like Metagross GX. It'll get you 240 Stage 2 GXs like Decidueye, but not your Stage 50s like Metagross. Although, of course, everyone at the moment is playing the promo Tapu Koko to spread 20 damage around the field, maybe this is a reason to play it. So, I like it for the first attack, but it's very risky for the discard. The second attack is very powerful, and we can use it as a non-EX attacker to swing the prize trade in our favour. You KO a 2-prize Pokemon with a 1-prize Pokemon, and either they KO you back or you keep KOing them and you win the prize trade. So, how do we get the energy? Now, there's a bad way to get the energy here. That's Magnezone. Magnezone just allows you to play as many lightning energy a turn as you like. It's not a good call. Speaking of not a good call, how about the Reshiram from Roaring Skies, where if it's in the active you can attach a fire to a dragon Pokemon. It's clunky, don't use it. We've got one, as far as I'm concerned, good option here, and this is Vikavolt from Sun and Moon. But there is an issue, and the issue is very simple. You need fire and lightning energy. Vikavolt attaches lightning and grass. So you're going to be running 3 types of basic energy here, which gets clunky as you like. However, you're doing 190 damage. And remember, it's only 1 fire and then 2 lightning and a colourless. So let's say, for argument's sake, you use Strong Charge on Vikavolt, you attach a grass and a lightning. Well, now you need a lightning and a fire, or a double dragon energy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is starting to sound pretty good at this stage. Because what you do is you then discard the lightning and the grass, and then you can reattach them the following turn. If you get 4 basic energy on there, you discard 3, reattach 2 with Strong Charge, and then attach 1 from your hand. Or you discard the double dragon and another one, and then you just reattach a double dragon and Strong Charge the next turn. There are options here, and if you're using Vikavolt with lightning energy, then you can use promo Tapu Koko as well, and you can use Vikavolt GX as well. Probably not Tapu Bulu, though, because do you really want to be relying on grass energy for Bulu while relying on lightning energy for Rayquaza while playing fire energy for Rayquaza? I don't think you do. And this is a little bit clunky. Using Vikavolt is a little bit clunky, but here's the point. There are ways to get the energy on, and please do not sleep on the fact that doing 190 damage, KOing a 2-prize Pokemon for a 1-prize Pokemon, will swing the game in your favour. You've got Vikavolt, you've got Double Dragon Energy, maybe you've got Magnezone. We've got options, ladies and gentlemen. Although Double Dragon might be being rotated, but in Expanded, we've got options, ladies and gentlemen. And if nothing else, if you're playing Lightning Energy and Professor Kukui, why not put one of these bad boys in? You might get a turn 1 win out of it. And that's why I'm giving Rayquaza free Wassies. It's a tech card. I don't think anyone's going to be playing Magnezone Rayquaza, but I do think that this is a card you can put in your deck and it will win you games. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what being a free Wossie card is all about. But if you disagree, that's what the comment section is there for. Go nuts, be nice. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at the Wossie, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. The most important thing as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.